We have returned. You're listening to CSC Talk Radio. This is Beth Ann. In the first segment, we had Caroline McCall on of McCall's Candles. They are an affiliate sponsor. If you go to my website and click on the All-American Market page, you can see their candles there and click on that and you'll take you straight to their website, or you can go straight there by mccallscandles.com. I was going to show this. This is the top of their jars are just beautiful, and their candles really, I'm not just saying it, I really love them. And I am very impressed that they burn so evenly. I've never seen any do that. I have a mini announcement that I just discovered yesterday. I had, if you'll remember, it doesn't seem that long ago, that I celebrated 1,000th show, my 1,000th show. And I thought, well, it's coming up next year to 2,000. But no, it's December 28th. I figured it up. It's December 28th, and we will hit show number 2,000. I'm very excited about it. You know, it's been a long haul. It's been a tough road to hoe. Is that what they say? And it's we're still here. We're still your voice. CSC Talk Radio is here. And I want to thank all of you for being supportive. Many of you have sent contributions to help me through the tough times, and it's still tough. I appreciate every bit of it. I want you to use my sponsors. That helps me an awful lot. It takes the burden off of you, maybe, and you get a little reward for it. So visit mccallscandles.com. And like I said, next Friday we'll be talking to several of these sponsors so that you can visit their websites and have a red, white, and blue Christmas instead of a black Christmas, instead of Black Friday. The chaos in the world today, in our world, here in this nation, if you'll remember back this is probably about the third time I've shared this article with you by Jack Minzy. And he passed away right after he wrote this article, and it was like back in April of this year or something. But he claims that we're in a civil war. And he asks the question, how do civil wars happen? And as I was reading the news for today, and let me just get those headlines out, and hopefully we'll get to it all. But I thought, I've got to get this Civil War article back out because he makes so many good observations in it. So when we're thinking about what's going on, think about the war in Florida right now over the election, and in Georgia. I have an article here that says 1,600 attorneys, they're calling for the protection of Mueller. Why would they do that? And the minority leader of the GOP is going to be Kevin McCarthy, not Jim Jordan. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And Flake has come out, Fakey Flake, and he is going to refuse to vote for any more of the judges, and there's about 4 dozen of them, nominees, federal judges, from President Donald Trump. He refuses to do that. So I want you to think about those headlines alone, not to mention all the spewing that's been going on by Schumer and Pelosi and Maxine Waters and some of these others, and Cory Booker. One of my listeners, who doesn't get to listen all the time, he sent me he sent me a messenger text, which, if you send me messenger, I may or may not see them because I don't go check messenger too much. And my phone is loaded up with articles and stuff coming from different news places on tweets and Twitter and whatever. And so I don't always see the Facebook or the messenger stuff. So just bear that in mind. But he was a little disgusted is the word he used. And I said, I kind of felt the same way. I don't know, disgust was my feeling, disappointment and confusion. Because I view this struggle we're having in this nation right now extremely important. So when one of the candidates, happens to be the ones in Arizona, conceded, she was sitting casually on her sofa with her dog. That didn't bother me so much. It bothered him, as if it meant nothing to her. But what bothered me is with the concession speeches, and that it's okay to congratulate them, But they were giving them pats on the back and wishing them good luck and success. That bothered me. Why would you wish your opponent, who is a socialist in this nation, success? Well, going back to Jack's article, he says, a civil war, and how do civil wars happen? Two or more sides disagree on who runs the country. Yeah, that's kind of going on, isn't it? And they can't settle the questions. Are you ready for this? Now, this was in April. He wrote this. Through elections, because they don't even agree that elections are how you decide who's in charge. That's the basic issue here, he said. Who decides who runs the country when you hate each other but accept the election results? You have a country. But when you stop accepting the election results, you have a countdown to a civil war. The Mueller investigation, he says, is about removing President Donald Trump from office and overturning the results of an election. We all know that. But it's not the first time they've done this. The first time a Republican president was elected this century that said he didn't really win, they said he didn't really win, the Supreme Court gave him the election. That's a pattern here. And if you remember, that was the one with the hanging chads and all this and that. He says, what do sure odds of the Democrats rejecting the next Republican president really mean? It means they don't accept the results of any election that they don't win. It means they don't believe the transfers of power in the country are determined by elections, and that, he says, is a civil war. There's no shooting, he said, unless you count the attempted killing of a bunch of Republicans at a baseball practice. But the Democrats, they've rejected our system of government. This isn't dissent. It's not disagreement. You can hate the other party. You can think they're the worst thing that ever happened. But then you work harder to win the next election. When you consistently reject the results of elections that you don't win, what you want is a dictatorship. And we know they don't want civility until they have control. He says our system of government is based on the Constitution. But that's not the system that runs this country. The Democrat system is that any part of government that it runs gets total and unlimited power over the country. If the Democrats are in the White House, then the president can do anything. And I mean anything, he says. He can have his own amnesty for illegal aliens. He can fine you for not having health care. His power is unlimited. He's a dictator. But on the other hand, if the Republican gets into the White House, suddenly the president can't do anything. He isn't even allowed to undo the illegal alien amnesty that his predecessor illegally invented. A Democrat in the White House has discretion to completely decide every aspect of immigration policy. But a Republican doesn't even have the discretion to reverse him. That's how the game is played. That's how our country is run. Sad but true. Through the left, although the left hasn't yet won that particular fight. They're still fighting. Now, we're going to finish this up, but I want you to understand what's going on today with the election battles and the recounting and the fraud. It's either out-and-out fraud or completely inept of knowing how to do a job. But the fights that we're going to see in the House, it's going to get worse than ugly, my friends. And you're not going to be the winner. 877-895-5410 is the number to call. We're heading into the break. And when we come back, we'll be in the final segment of today's show. And we will be right back.